Senator Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll have to say I detected a note of skepticism in the chairman's questioning. I'll say that I'll go beyond a note. I've been outright skeptical of the consolidated audit trail now for a long time. I have to say what I've heard today is just made me downright opposed to it. I've got real reservations about this. Mr. Simon, I want to start with you. You said that, so you have made the decision, as Mr. Clayton suggested in his recent letter to us, that you will not include Social Security numbers, account numbers, or dates of birth in the consolidated audit trail?
We have submitted an exemption request to the SEC asking them to grant that exemption so that we will not include that in the consolidated audit trail. It's now in the hands of the SEC whether or not to grant that exemption. We have a fair level of confidence that he will grant the exemption since we work closely with the staff of the Commission, with Judy, with the Advisory Committee, and with the industry generally on a means of dealing with sensitive personal information that we think satisfies the needs and interests of the Commission and of the industry, and as well as the regulators.
And did I hear you say that 25 different organizations are going to have access to this information?
There are 23 exchanges. There's FINRA and there's the SEC. However, there are only 8 specific organizations because multiple exchanges are owned by one holding company.
So, any idea of the number of people that will have access to this information?
Shelley will be able to answer that because she's going through the user authorizations, and it will vary. Some of the SRO groups will contract out. Some will have their surveillance obligations. Some will have a significant number of people. But I think it's really FINRA and the SEC will have the most people, and some of the exchange groups will also have a significant number of people.
Okay. Ms. Boland, I'm not looking for an exact number, just like an order of magnitude. Are we talking about dozens, hundreds, thousands?
So the plan has estimates of 3,000 users, and under our contract, we are having to build to ensure we can support access by 3,000 users. That would be across the SEC.
3,000 users will have access to every trade from every account from every broker for every retail investor in America.
Yeah.
And I know, so you're building this CCID, you said, so Social Security numbers don't have to be used, but you said that would be based on the Social Security number at the broker-dealer. And I know you talked about how good the audit trail's security is going to be. How confident are you that all those broker-dealers, many of whom are small businesses, have equally good security in their databases?
They are all required as registered broker-dealers to maintain adequate security programs themselves. And
the audit trail won't be able to get access to the underlying data. Do we think that, say, China or North Korea will be able to get access to that underlying data?
We are certainly designing it so that is not the case.
But this is my point. And let me be clear. Y'all all inherited this. Chairman Clayton inherited this. So I don't doubt your good intentions. I think, Ms. Boland, you said that the security of this information is your highest priority. You have, quote, a strong data security plan. I would just point out that the Office of Personnel Management and the SEC probably thought they had the strongest data security plan as well. Government agencies that suffered massive hacks that exposed the information of millions of Americans, to say nothing of companies like Equifax and Sony and Target and Marriott and Yahoo, and I could go on and on and on even further. There is huge costs to this program. Chairman Crapo outlined a bunch of the financial costs, billions of dollars up front and then continued in operating expenses, to say nothing of the cost of personally identifiable information. It is not clear to me what benefit market participants and Americans at large get from having this. I know that Commissioner Pierce has recently written that the Enforcement Division at the SEC does a pretty good job of tracking down wrongdoers, and they could probably get almost all of the benefit out of the audit trail if they focused on large institutional investors as opposed to a single mom who's trying to invest money to save for their kids' college. So I just don't see where the benefits outweigh the cost. The game is worth the candle. The juice is worth the squeeze. I appreciate you're doing everything you can to try to protect the information of individual users, but you are creating a database that is so large and so valuable and so attractive. I cannot imagine that at some point in the future this committee is going to be having an oversight hearing on how a breach of that database occurred.
Thank you.